Talking about here the continued decline of solo queue. So we're gonna go ahead and react to it because I want to watch this video. He tweeted about it, and I want to watch this video with everybody and see what he says, if it's true or not. Let's go.
The vast majority of people that play these kinds of games are playing solo. We don't have the time or want to expend the effort or to do all this.
I mean, he just said he didn't know, and he's making a speculation of vast majority playing solo queue. I don't think that's accurate. Like, I don't know whether it's accurate or not. I think that's just a speculation. Like that might be too wild of speculation, to be honest, because I don't know. I truly don't know.
Stuff to stack up all the time, right? Maybe your two friends aren't on to do trios, or maybe you don't have a 5-stack, or maybe you don't even want to put in the work to join a Discord, to meet people, to find the people that you like to play with. It's exhausting. Let's not pretend like there's not a layer of effort that goes into building a stack, or building a trio, or consistently having your friends on all the time. There's effort there, and sometimes you want to hop on the game and you hope that that game will deliver a decent experience. Okay. So my next bullet point on this is, what is the problem? What is the problem with solo queue? Why am I even saying that it's a declining experience? I originally wanted.
Hold on. Before he's about to say why you think it's a declining experience. I just want to know their entire team is scoring under the Unite of the enemy Delphox. They try to score like on Delphox Unite. This is impossible, by the way, because Delphox Unite is such a good defense tool. That's why I said that this is going to be #1 Pokemon in the game, because look at this Unite, bro. It's literally broken, and their entire team tried to score on it. And I was like, well, I'm trying to listen, but I'm watching 5 people playing a 5-man game scoring on a Delphox Unite. Like, god damn. Like, the only way to do it is probably have 10 points and you have score shield. Other than that, just don't even think about it, bro.
I'm gonna name this video "The Death of Solo Queue," because I do think that it's becoming a little existential in terms of solo queue, and we're going to be really specific on that in just a second. But what is the problem with solo queue? And when I'm talking about solo queue, I'm talking like true solo queue. Don't get me wrong, the issues still exist in duo and in trio, but as far as being a solo queue player, the experience is so rough. Mainly, let's start with the issue with solo queue despite the in-game experience. There's a lack of incentive to play the game, and this is very much leading to what I think the game needs more than anything in the world, more than new Pokemon, more than new Hollowware, new this, that, battle pass, whatever. More than anything in the world, I think that the game needs its own solo duo ladder. Now, when I say solo duo ladder, I want to be clear, because I know some of y'all are not MOBA players in your backgrounds. Okay. Solo duo ladder does not mean a solo ladder, a duo ladder, and then a 5-stack ladder. It means a ladder where, a ranked mode where you can queue in by yourself or you can queue in with a friend. So that means that every combination of team would be like 2 duos and a solo, 5 solos, a solo, and 3 solos and a duo. Okay. It would be the combinations of 2, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. You get the point, right? No more than 2 party size. And the reason why you don't want to do more than that is because a trio queue can kind of stomp games with coordination and doing well with comms.
Sure.
A duo queue is kind of like that perfect.
That's the point.
Fair solo duo queue, and then a 5-stack is obviously a 5-stack. And the reason why there's a lack of incentive for all of this, I need to kind of bring this back into the discussion, is there's nothing to play for when you realize that the leaderboard and the ladder is dominated by 5-stacks. So not only is it not enough to really solo queue and try to put yourself high up, and before you
I mean, before we continue, he brought up a good point about, like, the ladder being dominated by 5-men, or people who use cheats in trio, by the way. Like, there are people who use cheats in trio. Like, basically what I mean by cheat is, like, there's a really high elo player, and then they play with an ultra account. They get a friend who use like a really low elo account, and then they play duo trio together. And obviously it's going to help them rank up a lot easier because their game is really easy and he get a steady rank up. So that's how people who cheat. But other than that, most people just use solo queue. I just play 5-man to rank up in the leaderboard, at least, right? Like, at least if you look at like most Twitch streamers on Twitch, except for like 1 or 2 players, streamers who play solo queue, notably, obviously Chris Heroes. Most people, especially the people who you watch in tournaments, they only play 5-man, right? They go to a server, Discord server, to find the stack to play with, which I don't think anything is wrong with that, right? But yes, like the observation regarding like the leaderboard, the ladder is dominated by 5-man is correct. But regarding solo duo, like separate solo duo ladder, it's gonna drive I mean, it depends on the game, to be honest. I think Pokemon Unite is not it. I don't think you should do solo duo in Pokemon Unite because the game is not that competitive. Like at a certain point, you just have to come to a realization that this is not the structure of the game, and maybe you just have to play trio or five-man, right? The one thing that I disagree is trio can match with five-man. That should not happen. Like I think like yes. Solo duo is the most fair in terms of 5v5 rank meta. Like that actually has been calculated. I was watching videos about it. If you want to have the most fairness, like in a strategy game where like in talking about like skill wise or balance points, where you're not gonna, 'cause a lot of time you watch me play, I'm always with the weaker trio, right? Like they can give the enemy team one trio that is like average about 2,300 points, and they can give me like a trio that's average about 1,800 points, and I have to carry them because I have 2,200 points. So that's how matchmaking works. You know, it's not fair, but like in trio. So I understand that, but nonetheless, like I think the biggest problem with Unite, because Unite's position is casual. They don't want this game to be like another League of Legends. They have a different angle to it at this point. If you haven't noticed yet. So with that being said, we shouldn't be worried about like solo or duo, in my opinion. I just think that's not what Pokemon Unite try to strive for. They're trying to strive for playing with friends kind of experience, right? If you don't have friends already coming in, you should make friends in the game and try to play the game with friends. I think that's the angle they try to strike for, and that's how they design the game. Like, if they really want to design like a competitive 5-on-5 MOBA, they would just do solo and duo, sure, but that's not what it is. And you also have to think about, if you have a separate ladder for solo and duo, what will happen is a lot of people who play solo and duo, like although I don't know like solo duo how much percentage of players only play solo queue, but what I do know is if you have a separate ladder, you're gonna take away a lot of populations who's playing the main ladder. So the game is already, like, you can see from my stream, that when I play solo queue on my account, which is right now 2150 points, right? 2140, 2141. Yes, they will reach 2160 and we drop some. But we're about 2200 points, 2150 points, and it takes me about 5-10 minutes on average just to find a game. You know, the player base is already pretty small, and if you have another ladder, it's gonna make the game it's gonna make the five-man queue even longer. Not a five-man queue, the traditional, the other ladder, right? Unless you just take away this rank completely and, you know, Q5 versus 5 only, and then, which, you know, should happen, and then the other ladder just be solo duo. Right? Again, that's not what Pokemon Unite trying to strive for. It's a good idea, but it's really, from my opinion, not what the developer intended for the game. So that might be like what Pokemon Unite is, why they don't do it. Like, you know, obviously the developers are not stupid, right? It's not like this is a 2000 IQ, like brand new discovery that devs just don't know. They developed the game, they coded the freaking game. They obviously know, right? They just don't want to do it. Like that, you can see they don't want to do it. That's structural things. It's like talking to a tournament host and imagining and just like underestimating them and thinking that they don't even know what double elimination is, right? Like that's not how it is. So
bring up Chris Heroes. Big shout out to our friend Chris Heroes. I know that it's possible, but it's the exception, not the rule, and it's definitely not possible for him to ever hit top 100. That's the reality. So with a solo duo ladder, he would have something to grind for to be a top 100, maybe even the #1 ranked player in the world at solo duo queue. But in the current climate, it's literally impossible. So I understand that you...
True. I mean, they should give solo duo, again, solo duo that's not what the player is, what the game is striving for. But I guess that what they can do without having a separate ladder is have separate reward system. So what I'm trying to say is basically the achievement thing. You know, like if you're rank 1, let's say you're rank 1 Zeraora, or you're rank 1 Blissey, rank 1 Delphox, or, you know, Aspeon. Those kind of things should not use standard games, quick games, in my opinion. I think if you have a more competitive ladder, like not ladder, but achievement system, I think it's going to be very different. Yeah, like I can play solo queue, and you can see my solo queue is really good also, right? Obviously, people don't know me as solo queue because we always show up from Team 4 and Famous as a team, but we play solo queue all the time. And my solo queue account win rate is about 70%. Playing all kinds of troll content. You gotta understand this is my content account too. So it's not like, and my solo queue win rate is about the same as Chris Hero. I think that's basically what you can get in this game because you cannot expect too much collaboration in Pokemon Unite, especially in 5-on-5 MOBA, especially in Pokemon Unite because this game is like a reverse timer. So you're limited in your carry options. Yeah. There are many undeserving players in top 100 who plays Blissey like 90 out of his 100 games. If you had Blissey in solo rank, she quit. Yeah, I think what they just need to do was like to incentivize more people to play solo duo or whatever is not really change the ladder, but change the reward system, right? Add achievements where like the top 100 for each Pokemon is based off rank. Not like you gotta, because once you change the reward system, you're basically changing what people plays, right? If your reward system is like, okay, you can be number 1 in the world with 0 aura if you play quick matches for 5,000 games and win like 4,999 of them, people's gonna play quick matches. Right, that's exactly how it is. It's literally reward and punishment, right? Like people tend to do like that's called training behaviors. It's like that's how every game works. The designers designed the game and they gave you rewards and they give you punishments, right? If you constantly disconnect, the punishment is like you cannot play games anymore. You get deducted for your credit score, right? If you keep on winning, and then like based on what you get, that's what kind of mode you play. If I get rewarded to call global and 0 aura simply by playing quick matches, then I will play quick matches, right? Why would I play ranked? So I think they should just change the reward system, add where the most match played in quick match in overall for this Pokemon, and obviously the best player, which they should only use rank in my opinion. So
you can climb a little bit, don't get me wrong, but you can't be the best.
Brandon, the matchmaking doesn't make sense. I'm 65% win rate. I match with 47%, but that's like every day though. Sorry, not just every day. That's like every day with every MOBA though. Like every MOBA is like that. It's not just Pokemon Unite. It's universal.
You can't chase the best. You can't go after it. So that is a big part of the problem. After 1800, because that should be every player's goal at minimum when it comes to ranked, is trying to hit 1800 masters or hitting masters for your first time. If you're very new, if you're still learning, congratulations. Keep pushing, keep fighting. There's no incentive. You know, we get a sticker for 1800. I think that's a pretty lackluster reward personally. I would like there to be more rewards. I would like it to be better rewards potentially, but overall.
You see, that's my point. Right? I agree with that. I feel like there's no incentive for people who for a large amount of people who play solo duo queues to play the grinding game because there's literally no, like, there's not, like, we already know points in Pokemon Unite literally doesn't mean anything unless you're like 2,400 and above. Right, top 100, or unless you're 2,000 and above. To be honest, like I think reaching master especially, it doesn't really mean anything, right? If you play enough, like I've always said, if you master and not master is just like, you know, do you know how to hit the buttons? You can be 40% win rate and you hit master. It literally does not matter, right? As long as you play the game, you're gonna hit master. It's just like people don't hit master because they don't play the game enough, and it's literally not whether you're good or bad. You just don't play the game enough. So. That has no indication. So I understand like what he says. There's no rewards for solo and duo. There's not enough rewards, and that basically ties to my point. I think they should add more reward to solo to like, you know, people who actually win ranks. So then it makes sense.
It's not even just the rewards, it's the leaderboard. It's the fact that as a solo player, if I was to truly engage in this game solo, there basically is no leaderboard for me, right? It basically doesn't exist. It's pretty irrelevant. Now, the next part of the problem, because we're still under the what's the problem bullet point, is the experience of the game is poor. The experience of the matches, I want to be very clear, is poor. Why is it poor? Well, we know with irrefutable evidence when it comes to Unite API that essentially, if we were to judge players on their win percentage as their skill level, let's not argue about that topic for now, but let's just say your skill level is what your win percentage is. The disparity in players that you can get on a team is massive. You can be 2,100 playing with a 1,200. You can be, 58% win rate, 60% win rate playing with a 45% win rate.
Sure.
It is, the floodgates are opened when it comes to masters. You hit masters and it's all, you know, everybody's a master. And
sure.
You know, if you've never heard this saying, I mean, maybe, I don't know where it originates from or what the full thing is, but it's, if everybody's special, then no one is, right? And so it leads into the last bullet point. Being masters has no prestige. There's nothing
it's
special
not supposed
about
to.
it. You know, there's no divisions inside of masters. There's no way to even tell who's good within masters. Now, I'll get asked this question on stream, and I have to give the honest answer because that's just who I am.
Okay.
People will say, hey, I'm 1600 masters. Am I good? And you know what's sad about the way that the rank system works is that actually isn't enough information for me to know if someone's good. If you play enough, despite your win percentage, you will hit 1800. That is basic. That is how the game is designed. And you can see it because they want everybody to hit the rewards. They want it to be inclusive. There's not enough context for someone to tell me, hey, Krashy, you know, I'm 1600, am I good? Well, the reality is you could be 1600 with 800 games played at a 45% win rate, or you could be 1600 with maybe only a couple hundred games played with a 60% win rate. I don't actually know. It's impossible without looking at the specifics. And so, yeah, the experience is poor. There's not an incentive for playing in small group sizes, basically anything outside of 5 stacking, and there's not much prestige. It doesn't feel important to be a master player. I think the funny thing is if you actually look at the ranked system,
right?
The system that's in place is basically 2 systems. There's the star climbing system and the diamond climbing system, and then there's the ELO masters climbing system. The system that's in place before masters is harder than the system that's in place at masters. It actually is. If you lose a game, now pretend placement points don't matter, right?
Right.
Personal points, placement points. I can't think of what it's called. Performance points. There we go. We found our way to it. Pretend that doesn't exist at all. When you lose a game of solo queue, you lose a diamond. When you win a game of solo queue, you gain that same diamond back. It's even, right? Boom, boom. 1 for 1 diamond. Right. Again, I know performance points exist, but just think of that system.
He's playing some very basic stuff.
In masters, when you're at a lower rating, you can win a game and gain like plus 12. You can lose a game and lose like 6
That's
or
true.
7. It's you would just climb. You just infinitely climb. There's no prestige. It doesn't mean anything. You might have just heard my coffee cup. The experience is poor. So,
okay, but again, like I don't think reaching master is supposed to be the judging ground, the line, you know, where we know whether you're good at a game. Like maybe the master, like we discussed in the town hall before, was just an indicator whether you know how to hit your buttons. I think that's it, right? Wu says somebody hit master with 34% win rate. There's something wrong with the system. Like, I don't think there's something wrong with the system. I think the master is only designed for people to know that, hey, I know how to hit the buttons. Maybe eventually we're going to have like another rank called Grandmaster. Like obviously you can see from the incentive system where in the game, you after master, they have like what, 1400 points, 1600 points, 1800 points. And then you like, after you reach different ranked, you will get different rewards. He's absolutely right. The master doesn't really mean anything. We talked about it. Yeah, he's right. It's just that I don't think his expectation is the same as developers. Again, there's this misalignment. It's like the devs only want the game to do this much, but Krashy want the game to do this much. You know, like I think there's a huge difference there, right?
That is the problem. Now, this is the kind of like follow-up issue. This is I'm kind of losing what I want to say here. This is what is the result of that problem. This is what I like to call the 50-50 issue. And this is a me thing specifically that I want to talk about and basically ask you if you feel the same way.
All right.
Let's go, Krashy. Is the experience of playing the game, at least for you, 50% fun and 50% frustrating? The 50-50 issue for me is that...
Hold on. Before he goes to his personal opinion, what do y'all think? Is the game 50% good for you, 50% crappy? Like, how do you feel? I mean, I think for most players, if you feel frustrated, you can just play other games. To be honest, you know, like Nicky Perry. Hey everyone, yeah, they need to do something as masters means nothing at this point. You play enough, you get a masters. Yeah, you get exactly. The developers are cringe. The developers they just have different opinions, I guess. You know, 65-35, happy to angry. Okay, loose change. All right, 60-40. I think most of the viewers are generally positive towards the game, right? Like I think for me, it's probably the same. Like I have a overwhelmingly more positive opinion about the game than negative. The reason for that is over a long period of time. It's not because like I don't think there's stuff that Unite need to improve on. It's my opinion has shifted, like literally has changed, right? The way how I look at a game is completely different. Before, when I look at a game, I'm like Krashy. I critique the game if the game doesn't align with my expectations. But then I come to a realization is actually this is not my game. This is a company or a few people who want to make a game, and then they spend a lot of money and they made a game out of their own vision, right? Their vision might be different from your vision, but it doesn't mean like their vision is wrong, your vision is right. So it's just two different visions, in my opinion. So like right now, if I'm playing the game, I basically largely enjoy the game. That's why I'm still playing it. Otherwise, I would just not play the game anymore. I think the same for a lot of viewers out there too. I see some viewers at 50-50 as well. Yeah, I totally understand that, right? Like sometimes it's frustrating, sometimes not. And again, like my opinion is overall like largely more positive because like I don't have more expectations for the game than the developer have for themselves. All right. I mean, if I have that, there's going to be a huge misalignment, and if there's a huge misalignment, it only causes frustrations for me and for my community, which is not something that we want to see, right?
And I love the gameplay. I love the game. I love the characters. I love the kit design. I love the theory crafting. I love engaging in the game. But the experience is so frustrating and so unrewarding that half the time I'm not even having fun, and the other half the time I am having fun. Is that enough? Is that enough for you to just be half the time having fun on a game?
Give me the butt.
On my notes, I wrote down the 50-50 issue and what could be worse than 50-50 for some, myself included. For me, the game almost feels like 45-55. I feel like the slight majority of the time, just barely, I'm just ticking over into, I really am not having that much fun. I'm really frustrated. I'm really not understanding why I'm playing with these players. I actually don't
know. Does anyone know what Krashy started with? Like, did he start a channel with Pokemon Unite? I don't think he did, right? Like, what did he start with? Let's take a look of what his channel started with. Like there's. Let me see. Krashy, right? Krashy. Let's take a look. What did Krashy start the channel with? If I go to videos and I go to sorted by date oldest. This is 1 year ago. Okay, he kind of just started with Pokemon Unite. He did some games like on Spellbreak. I never heard of those games before. What about this ones? Yeah, I never heard of those games before. And then he started making Unite videos. Okay, so this might not be his first channel. Let me see if he has other channels with bigger than this one. No. This is his only channel. Okay, so this is the only channel this is a larger channel with Unite, and you can see in the beginning he's if you look at all videos, no, just go to oldest. Unite is so good. So let's talk. In-game items, beginner jungles. It's all positive, to be honest. It's all like guides about the game, live streams, first impression on Wiggly, Jungle 101. I think initially his perception of the game is always good. It's like he was playing Bloodhound. I think Krashy was saying the same. Initially, he was saying the same thing, good about the game, and then when he gets deeper into the game, he started finding out all those problems and challenges. I think a lot of players are like when Krashy first started the game. They just want to have some fun. They don't really care about the complications with the game. As long as they have a little bit of fun, they're okay. They're good to go, right? So like right now, a lot of things that he's talking about literally does not concern majority of the players. I think like even the solo queue, like matchmaking is bad in every MOBA. I watch a lot of casual streamers on Twitch, and they were playing the game like very casually, and if they lose, like, oh, I lost, and laugh it off. They're not really struggling with it. I think the same thing with Spraggles. If you don't play the game that much, like obviously Krashy streamed the game a lot. You can go back and watch his stream, like look at his streams. He streams quite a bit, right? He streams 5 hours, 7 hours, 5 hours, 8 hours, 4 hours. He streamed for so much. If you play these games a lot, you're gonna have a lot of frustrations. Like obviously, if you're gonna play solo queue that much. But if you don't play the game, which majority of the players don't do that much, in my opinion. I think there are a lot of other games for players. Like, is Pokemon Unite the only game you play, or do you also play some other options? Let me see what the chat says. I think a lot of times, like, it's a lot of players, when they play the game for the first time, they don't have a lot of frustrations that Krashy is experiencing, to be honest. So let's continue.
The incentive to keep pushing. And so my issue is, or my question is where do you lie on that, right? Like this is this hypothetical, the 50-50 issue. Are you having way more fun than the frustrations and the issues that you're having with solo queue, or are you kind of closer to where I am? Because I can't really speak for the majority of the player
He was
base.
scared?
I don't actually know. I just know that this for me is a massive issue with the game, and I think it's the biggest issue with the game. Now, my next bullet point is what can we do about it? What can we do about it? Well, I even have a bullet point right below this question, and it says the bleak future. The reality is I don't think there's anything we can do about it. Quite literally. This is a Tencent game developed by...
Okay, immediately, I think largely, overall, the sentiment that he was talking about regarding there's not enough rewards for Pokemon Unite, for solo duo, like I said, I think they should just add more rewards, and we're good to go, right? Krashy, literally, they should just add more rewards for solo duo players. Literally, people who play ranked, encourage more people to play ranked. This is the first game that I've seen the developer openly encourage people to play quick matches. I think from the way the reward system is set up, you can tell the game is not designed for competitive. The only reason they're doing competitions, I believe it's just a checkbox. Like everybody else is doing it, so we have to do it. And it's made by Tencent. It also have Pokemon TPCI behind it, so let's do it. Even the tournament format is not the greatest. The game itself has a lot of 50-50 in it, right? So overall, I don't know if the game was built for competitive. I think it's built for casual players. It's built similar the way how Brawl Stars is built. It's initially built with casual gaming in mind, just a game that they can use to monetize and then have another option for their fan base to engage with. But it's not a game that they intended to do competition. Now, Brawl Stars grew to such a size where there's so many people want to see teams play competitively. That's when they decided, okay, it's time for us to do a world. That's literally how Brawl Stars worlds happened. It's very different from Pokemon, where the game has not yet taken off yet, and the developer is like, okay, we gotta do a worlds for it. We gotta do a tournament for it. Although I don't think that harms the game, I just think it's shifting the focus. Right? I think they should focus more on marketing. They should focus more on ads. Right? Literally, let me ask the chat. Have you guys ever seen a Pokemon Unite ad? I have never seen one myself personally. I have never seen one. Personally, I just have never seen one. The only reason I know about Pokemon Unite is because I'm in the space and I keep up with the news. I have never seen a single ad. I don't know if Pokemon does ads in general. I think they do ads for their movies. I've certainly seen a lot of ads for the Detective Pikachu movies. I've seen a lot of ads for... I even seen ads for Pokemon Go. Yeah, never. Okay, the overall people just reacted never. I've never seen ads for Pokemon Unite. Literally, I've never seen it. So it's actually quite interesting. Yeah. Everybody says I've never seen it. Same. I feel like they should put more money in advertising if they have the money. Imagine spending $3 million, $2 million, multi-million dollars on a competition that's not gonna yield any results. Having this $1 million tournaments, for the Unite, in my opinion, is gonna have less impact if they have $1 million to focus on marketing, to hire someone, or have 150, just hire someone for a fraction of the cost, let's say 1/10 of the money, $100,000 to hire somebody for the year to focus on the community, to focus on social media plans, to focus on doing advertising, and spend the rest of the money for actual advertising. I think it might help help the game a lot more, and organize community level tournaments. But obviously, and you can say, Dave, why do you say that? By the way, for the record, I was a pro player. I like pro scene, all right? I like esports scene. I'm a big fan. But I also understand the dynamic of a game, because I've seen so many games come and go. I've seen so many games succeed and fail, and there has yet to be a game that I've been through personally that becomes successful out of esports. The game first have a game is successful, and then it has an esports because the game is successful. The relationship is reversed. But in Pokemon Unite, I feel like they're forcing esports. Yep. So,
by Timmy Studios, a Chinese studio. We have no communication with the developers. Feedback is seemingly ignored, but it's kind of considered at the same time. We do our surveys, we post our content, we share our feedback, we open up dialogues like this, and then I essentially wrote, we pray. You know, there's never any kind of guarantee or any kind of confirmation that any of our issues are.
See, this issue can also be solved by communication, right? So when he said there's a bleak future, I disagree with that. I think the future can be really bright. All those issues for Pokemon Unite can be solved pretty easily, right? Like, for example, the solo queue issues we're talking about, the solo queue can be solved, like the solo queue player experience can simply be solved by, changing, first of all, changing Trio, where Trio doesn't match with Fireman anymore. Number two, the matchmaking, in general. It changed the reward structure, right? Incentivize people to play ranked. So this way, you tied up the ladder. This way, more people will start playing ladder, playing ranked, and then more people will get better. You know, like I think they should push more people into one ladder instead of pushing them away. Casual mode is fun, but I don't think they should encourage it. You know, in a way like what they're doing now with the global ranking system.
Actually being heard, we're just doing our best to share this kind of dialogue. And again, I don't mean this video in a negative way. I just do think that this is a major issue for the game. And could be for the long term. Now, this next part, I'm trying to be really introspective by adding this bullet point on my notes, but I wrote, is this a me problem? Is this a me problem? And the reason why I think it could be a me problem is because I'm coming from what I would, this might sound elitist, but I'm coming from like PC games and stuff mostly. And that in my mind feels like a little bit more of like an elitist, kind of like online multiplayer kind of community.
PC game bigger than mobile game? Kappa? Oh my god, Krashy, what you doing here? You know, you're leading on us mobile gamers. What is Krashy doing, bro? Like I was liking this video. I was enjoying sitting here for like 10 minutes, enjoying until this point. Until he said, I came from a PC perspective, you know? Like, you mobile gamer sucks. Like, that's not what he said, but basically, I don't think that's an elite perspective. I think what Krashy experienced is not really PC or mobile. I don't think it's related. I came from a PC background. I played Dota, I played League, I played Hero of New Earth. I played a lot of different MOBAs on PC. I played a lot of different games. I played CS:GO, played Counter-Strike, played a lot of different games on PC. I played a different MMORPG, except for a lot of Asian ones, you know? I can't name them in English. But yeah, I played different games and they're all on PC, right? I didn't play too many mobile games. To start off, I started doing content for mobile games, but I was a PC gamer. I don't think it's related. I had the same feelings as Krashy 3 years ago. Like, I was similar to Krashy the way how I or voice myself, just as Krashy. I was just as guilty in the fact that I criticized the game too much, right? But again, in the end, just quickly come back to it. I came to a conclusion where it's just a misalignment of vision, right? If you don't like the game, just leave, right? If I didn't like the game, so I did like Wall Rift, so I left. You know, I stopped complaining about it. I came to a realization, this game is gonna give me mental boom, so I left the game. You know, I was the number one in a server for many different characters. For Akali, for Evelyn, I left the game. I didn't like it, right? I was the number one streamer on Twitch for 4 months in a row when I was in Korea. I left the game. I just didn't like it. So that's literally how it is. I was done complaining, you know, because I realized it doesn't matter what I say, the developer's not going to change one bit. Right? They're not going to change the game because what we say. They're going to change the game based on how they like it and based on what the market demands. And the biggest market data that they have is always going to be different from any influencer's opinion. You know, like influencer opinion is just like our opinions. Right? So like, I don't think it's elite because you're a PC. I think it's elite. No, it's not elite, period. I think it's just like individual, it's just perspective from a content creator, from a, yet to mature content creator for gaming, right? Like, that's why like a lot of gaming streamers, they become variety streamers too, because they get bored of a game. You know, they move on to a different game. And also like they're not satisfied with one game, they move on to a different game, you know? They just don't complain about it. Because they're done with the game and they make a video about it saying like, I love this game, I go to another game. No stress, no issues, very, very straightforward and streamlined, right? So I think that's something that we want to do. We want to start, you know, making content for different games because it's going to be more fun for the community, in my opinion.
I feel like most PC like multiplayer MOBAs, shooters, serious kind of ranked competitive games they tend to have a community that's backed by much more of a competitive focused community. Now, what is the natural expectation of players that are coming from a free-to-play Switch market? Well, naturally, I don't know how much cross-pollination there is from, say, your serious, ranked kind of gamer on a PC or on console versus that of a Nintendo Switch user. And for the mobile community, I honestly don't know. I don't know. Maybe there's a lot of casual MOBA or mobile players. Maybe there's a lot of super serious MOBA players from other, like mobile MOBAs. I don't know. I don't know. Is this a me problem? And does this problem even matter enough in the grand scope of things?
I do think it's a me problem for Krashy. I do think this is a me problem for Krashy. I still can't believe there's only one map. Yeah. I mean, like, if it's a competitive MOBA in any sense, if they want to have a competition, they should have only one main focus map. If anything, they can change the map like what they did with Last Christmas, but they should only have one map. Like, they can have all the other maps, but they should be like, all the other maps should only be quick matches only. That's how you don't distract from the main game. It makes sense, like what they're doing here. But we're reacting to Krashy's video, and what he said here, if it's a me problem, I disagree. Like what he said, why he think it's a me problem, but I do think it's a me problem for Krashy. It's just different. I think it's different from my perspective how he think. Why it's a me problem, if that makes any sense. Yeah, I don't know how to express it better.
Does the majority of the player base even care about this at all? But
you guys understand me, right?
The reality is no, they probably don't. So let's start walking our way toward my ending thoughts.
Right.
The question is, will this ever change? Is it big enough to matter? Is it big enough to change? Is it big enough for you to care about? Or am I truly the one that's kind of on an island here? I wrote down, probably not. Will this ever change? Probably not.
Okay, so I gotta say, like, it is probably not, because but I say probably not for like differently from what Krashy is coming from. Krashy is coming from a very, because he said it just earlier, verbatim in his words, in a bleak perspective for the future. I think probably not in the sense that like I don't believe in Pokemon Unite's future. I think the future is really bright for Pokemon Unite. I think probably not because again, I don't think that's the vision for the game. The developer has their own plan for the game, and I think Krashy has his own vision for the game. But again, we don't own the game, right? Neither I don't own the game, Krashy doesn't own the game. Nobody owns the game except for Tencent and TPCI. They own the game and they have their vision for the game. They're doing what's working out for them, right? If the game is showing them like, it's making this much money every year, it's hitting all those check boxes, they don't see the reason why they need to change, and they don't change it. I think I do so much. We're excited to see what happens. Exactly. Especially like after the 1 year anniversary, I know a lot of exciting stuff are going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen. I know a lot of exciting stuff are going to happen. So what Krashy said here, like regarding like he didn't probably not going to change, that I think it's going to change, but I don't like, I don't want to count on it, right? That's why like I'm looking for other games to play as well. Like I like Unite, and I want to lose that. I don't want to lose that excitement, but I don't want to count on the developer to deliver the changes that I want to. Oh, there we go. To deliver the changes that I want to see. So obviously, because we don't own the game, we're just players or creators in this game. We can issue our frustration.
Troy committed to the fam.
So, let's go. We got so many people recommitted fan member. Let's go, guys. All right, let's continue this video.
And why? The why is because of my biggest fear.
Pep Slime committed to the fam.
I fear that the long-term player retention of this game is going to fail. Like long-term. I can't really predict if they're going to do a Pokemon Unite Worlds, for the following year. I can't really predict if they're going to continue enough of competitive stuff to keep the teams playing. But what about the rest of us, right? What about us non-5 stackers? Is the retention high enough?
You won't be playing this game after this year.
The game long term. Will there be a ranked community? Will there be a community of players that are serious enough to want to engage in the competitive side of the community? Because it feels like competitive is kind of like all we've got, really, as far as like truly wanting to be involved in the game.
True. That the last sentence is a little bit true.
The devs and the publishers don't change anything because they actually have the game that they already wanted, which is a financial success. The game that is serious
Sure.
but not that serious. The game that captivates that player base and that audience that they think that they're going for, or that they know or think that exists on the Nintendo Switch versus, say, like a PC market. Is it me that is the odd one out because I come from, PC MOBAs and I have all these expectations and desires for things, and I'm the one that's like looking at the game saying, why isn't it this way? Why doesn't it work this way? And everybody else is like, bro, look at where you are, right? And
Again, like, this PC thing is kind of cringe, right? This PC argument is so cringe. Like, League has been out for 10 years, and League's matchmaking, like, go to the not Google store, go to like any forum, go to like any discussion group, go to like Reddit, like go to any places, go to any YouTube videos, go to any content creators. They still complain about matchmaking till this day, They're still complaining about all kinds of problems till this day. The fact that this is a 5v5 strategy game, it's really hard to balance the game as to a perfect way, to be honest. It's always it's a constant improvement. It's a constant balance, in my opinion. But I do believe the future is bright. I think that when he said that, when he has like the overall emotion that he has towards the game, I personally is on the other side. I respect his opinion, but me personally, I think the future for the game is really bright. Look at Pokemon Go, right? It came out, it's really successful, and I heard it died, and then they came out with another patch, become really successful again, the biggest game, the global sensation that it was, and it kind of died off, and now it's coming back again. Like there's so many things that the game can do to make it popular or not so popular, right? Like we it's too early for us to say, but obviously overall for a game, like the game is, if you look at many games, the game is never going to be as successful as when it first came out, right? It's always going to be like a general downward trend from when it first came out, but it depends on how slow it go down though. League of Legends has certainly done a really good job to slow the trend.
I kind of do feel like that. Like I feel like, dude, I'm playing a Switch Pokemon MOBA.
Yeah.
Maybe this is just silly of me to
kids.
even ask.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I always ask myself, or I always like to think, that if you're going to do anything right, or if you're going to do anything at all, do it right. And that's what I think when it comes to a ranked mode. If the game was just Pokemon Unite, it was a MOBA, I think a lot of these complaints would be silly to me. But because of the fact that there's a ranked mode, there's leaders, the leaderboard, there's these rewards and all these things, it's like I just want to take that thing they've already done and just push it in the right direction. So that's the discussion for today. I do think that they're
okay. Yeah, it's just I think we're done with the video, right? Like I think the rest of it's just gonna be more random talking here because he said that's the thoughts for the day. Like at this point, I think like overall, it's just a big misalignment with how Krashy see the game and how the devs see the game. These are absolutely right. Like the devs created the game for a lot of it with kids in their mind, right? Like little kids. If you just look at the way they do patch notes, like if you look at every single game, mobile game that Teamy Studio has published, they have never done patch notes like the way they did for Pokemon Unite. This is the first time I see patch notes come out saying, oh, this move has been strengthened. This move has been downgraded. we don't know what those means, but it's obviously for little kids, for tiny kids. That's probably the majority of the players who never watch videos, who never watch streams. That's why you probably feel the frustrations, Like we have some kids in our streams too. But we have a very little amount of kids. Like I did a poll on my channel. I think majority of our viewers, like over 80% are over like 18, 24 years old. Over 20 something years old. It's crazy amount, majority of our viewers, but it doesn't represent the overall player base for Pokemon Unite. This game is very successful. Like we represent a very tiny community of the game. Majority of the games are played by kids who don't watch videos, who don't watch streams. They probably don't even have access to those, right? The parents probably restrict their YouTube account to watch like only certain amount of games. Because you have to remember, like our streams, our videos, it says we're not age restricted, right? Like that means like but that means like okay, I think kids are not, like a lot of kids won't be able to see our videos, to be honest. Like it's very tiny kids who play this game too. So like overall, I think like there's just a misalignment with how the devs want to create this game and how we as streamers like see this game. How we like, well, especially Krashy, right? Because I understand the true reality of it, which is like we don't represent the 99% of the majority. We represent a minority who likes the competitive things, who likes to, who are more mature, for more adults. But again, like I think most of the audience might just be kids, and they're satisfied with the game as it is. So, like he said, quote his own words in the game, in this video, I think Krashy pointed out the devs might already got the game that they needed, they wanted. So they don't need to spend more money, they don't need to spend more energy to make the game bigger. You know, which is at the same time kind of weird. Why do you even create an esports then, right? They created esports for adults because you have to be 18 years and older. You have to have like valid IDs and all kinds of stuff in order to join the game, join a tournament. Like that's a requirement. If you don't have those, you can't even join the first game. You can't even join a qualifier. So like it's actually, there's a conflicting thoughts. Like that's something that I don't know why developer are doing. Like if you try to produce a product, you try to make a product and you say my product is for kids, then just do it completely for kids. You know, if you want to cater to the adult community, I think they're doing it in the wrong way. You know, I think they're doing it in the wrong way, to be honest. But competitiveness is good. Esports is good, but to this point, I think it's too early. You know, like there's a very tiny minority of esports pro players might disagree with me, but I think it's too early. Just look at all the so-called quote-unquote pro players on Twitch who stream the game 24/7, right? Getting 100 viewers, making $100, $200 per month. Like you can't live off of that. You simply can't. You know, there's not like why do you even do that? You know, like I don't get it. It makes no sense because it was not made for this type of community, right? But yeah, there's a tiny niche of community who lives in our age range who want to play this game. So like when you log in, it should put you with a similar age group. That's really hard to do, to be honest. Yeah, I just think that they focus on the wrong marketing strategy. And also, like regarding Krashy's video, I think that his ideal with for the game and the developer's ideal for the game is just misaligned, and that's it. Overall, I think it's well intended. It probably like need a little bit more proof, like more data, regarding say like how many people play solo queue, how many people doesn't. We don't have the data. Also the age group, right? How many, like what are the overall age who play this game? We don't have those data. Like if we don't have those data, everything that we say is just speculations. And then good wishes that we want to see that happen in the game. So yeah, that's my take for this video.